Wow, wow. Hello, 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 everyone. Today is October 3rd, 2019. The time is approximately 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am so thrilled that you guys are here with me today. I am AnneHumphrey, the creator and the founder of Getting the Science of Getting Rich Mindset and Mastermind Group, and also I have my own talk show, The All Show. So that's why a lot of times if you're on YouTube, you'll go there and you'll see these videos, download it there. So be sure to subscribe to The All Show so then you will know when we upload another exciting and thrilling video. Meanwhile, be sure to hit the bell at the bottom of the page on YouTube so then you will know when we have downloaded a new video. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. We're going to be discussing and reading Chapter 10 of The Science of Getting Rich by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Anyone who knows me know that I love this book. This book is something that is a manual for me. My first book is the Bible, and the second book is The Science of Getting Rich. Those are the only two books besides my book that I am reading at this time, at this very moment. I also want to give a quick shout out to all the Instagrammers who take the time out to look at these videos. You guys are phenomenal. I don't know what's in the water over there in Instagram, but you guys are wrapping your arms around me every time I put up a story. So please continue to look and then join and subscribe, because I really do appreciate you for viewing. Also, to my Twitterers, please continue to follow The All Show on Twitter and retweet things that coincide with what you like and what you believe in. I also appreciate the support that you guys give as well. And for everybody that's on Facebook, please hit the like button and hit the share button, because the more that you share about this fantastic information, The Science of Getting Rich by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, you just never know. It could land on somebody's page, and it was just something that they needed to hear at that particular moment. So let's jump right on in. We're going to read Chapter 10. And if you do not have your books, just listen, and then share what resonated with you most below in this video. Before we get started, I want to make sure that I have shared this video to my other pages. So give me a moment as I will make sure that this video is shared to other pages. Thank you. Meanwhile, what you can do is grab your book, a pen and a pad, because trust me, the things that Mr. Wallace D. Wattles speaks about, it is so profound, truly profound, and you don't want to miss this. So give me a moment as I share this live video to my other pages. Thank you for your patience. Again, for all of you who, let me just, in the meanwhile, so we don't have dead silence, for those of you who may not know me and who would like to learn a little bit more about what I do and how I show up here on planet Earth, there are several sites that you can go on. You may visit Now Your Life transforms.com. And that is where I work with entrepreneurs, executives, and leaders to help them get out of their own way. So this is a program that I will just say for you to go. You want to get further faster, if you're not getting the type of results that you know that you so rightfully deserve, then you definitely need to get in touch with me at nowyourlifetransforms.com. And I am proud to say that I am an upcoming New York Times bestseller author. And the name of my book is called Damn It, Execute. Damn It, Execute. You can go there, you will be able to learn more about the Damn It brand. We also have added a Damn It apparels. So on damnitexecute.com, you will be able to get your very own Damn It Execute t-shirt. So all you have to do is just go to damnitexecute.com, where you will find all the information about my upcoming best-selling book, how you can partner, how you can purchase your very own t-shirt. It is a unisex t-shirt, sizes small all the way to 6XL. 6XL. It is a unisex tee, so it is for everyone. Definitely. So you can learn more about me there. And again, as I already said about the AW Show, you can subscribe to the AW Show, and that's AH, like my name, AnneHumphrey, the AW Show on YouTube, and you will be able to learn more about me there as well. Thank you guys so much. I just want to make sure I get this and share this out to as many platforms as possible before I begin to read. Be sure to grab your pens, your paper, and your book. And if you do not have your book, just listen and take copious notes, as I know that you will hear something today that will move, touch, and inspire you, because Mr. Wallace D. Wattles is a phenomenal writer. And for those of you who may not know, this book was written back in 1910. 1910. And it still resonates true to this day. I'm almost about finished with sharing this live video. And for all of you, please be sure to share this live video. Even if you're watching it on replay, post it below. Tell me that you watched it replay. Share what touched and moved you most. And because I like to hear from you. I like to be able to hear some other people's point of view to Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. You know, I mean, I love what he's written. It makes sense to me. So I want to make sure that it makes sense to you. So let's jump right on in. Chapter 10, further use of the will. And I like to show this. Chapter 10, further use of the will. All right, let's get started. You cannot retain a true and clear vision of wealth if you are constantly turning your attention to opposing pictures, whether they be external or imaginary. Do not tell of your past troubles of a financial nature. If you have had them, do not think of them at all. Do not tell of the poverty of your parents or the hardships of your early life. To do any of these things is mentally class yourself with the poor for the time being, and it will certainly check the movement of things in your direction. Let the dead bury their dead, as Jesus said. Put poverty and all things that pertain to poverty completely behind you. You have accepted a certain theory of the universe as being correct and are resting all your hopes of happiness on its being correct and what you can gain by giving heed to conflicting theories. Do not read religious books which tell you that the world is soon coming to an end. Do not read the writing of muckrakers and pessimistic philosophers who tell you that it is going to the devil. The world is not going to the devil. It is going to God. It is wonderful becoming. True, there may be a good many things in existing conditions which are disagreeable, but what is the use of studying them when they are certainly passing away? And when the study of them only tends to check their passing and keep them with us? Why give time and attention to things which are being removed by evolutionary growth, when you can hasten their removal only by promoting the evolutionary growth as far as your part of it goes? No matter how horrible and seeming may be the conditions in certain countries, sections, or places, you waste your time and destroy your own chances by considering them. You should interest yourself in the world's becoming rich. Think of the riches the world is coming into instead of the poverty it is growing out of. And bear in mind that the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative method, not the competitive one. Give your attention wholly to riches. Ignore poverty. Whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich, as those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch the inspiration and begin to search for the way out. Because I say that you are to give your whole time and mind and thought to riches, it does not follow that you are to be sordid or mean. To become really rich is the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else. On the competitive plane, the struggle to get rich is a godless scramble for power over other men. But when we come into the creative mind, all this is changed. All that is possible in the way of greatness and soul unfoldment, of service and lofty endeavor, comes by way of getting rich. All is made possible by the use of things. If you lack for physical health, you will find that the attainment of it is conditional on your getting rich. Only those who are emancipated from financial worry and who have the means to live a carefree existence and follow hygienic practices can have and retain health. Moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above the competitive battle for existence. And only those who are becoming rich on the plane of creative thought are free from the degrading influences of competition. If your heart is set on domestic happiness, remember that love flourishes best where there is refinement, a high level of thought, and freedom from corrupting influences. And these are to be found only where riches are attained by the exercise of creative thought, without strife or rivalry. You can aim at nothing so great or noble, I repeat, as to become rich. And you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of riches, to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision. You must learn to see the underlying truth in all things. You must see beneath all seemingly wrong conditions the great one life ever moving forward toward fuller expression and more complete happiness. It is the truth that there is no such thing as poverty, that there is only wealth. Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. And these can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. Others are poor because while they feel that there is a way out, they are too intellectually indolent to put forth the mental effort necessary to find that way and by travel it. And for those, the very best thing you can do is to arouse their desire by showing them the happiness that comes from being rightly rich. Others still are poor because while they have some notion of science, they have become so swamped and lost in the maze of metaphysical and occult theories that they do not know which road to take. They try a mixture of many systems and fail in all. For these, again, the very best thing to do is to show the right way in your own person and practice. An ounce of doing things is worth a pound of theorizing. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. You can serve God and man in no more effective way than by getting rich. That is, if you get rich by creative method and not by the competitive one. Another thing, we assert that this book gives in detail the principles of the science of getting rich. And if that is true, you do not need to read any other book upon the subject. This may sound narrow and egotistical, but consider. There is no more scientific method of competition in mathematics than by addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. No other method is possible. There can be but one shortest distance between 2 points. There is only one way to think scientifically, and that is to think in the way that leads by the most direct and simple route to the goal. No man has yet formulated a briefer or less complex system than the one set forth herein. It has been stripped of all non-essentials. When you commence on this, lay all others aside. Put them out of your mind altogether. Read this book every day. Keep it with you. Commit it to memory, and do not think about other systems and theories. If you do, you will begin to have doubts and to be uncertain and wavering in your thought. And then you will begin to make failures. After you have made good and become rich, you may study other systems as much as you please. But until you are quite sure they have gained what you want, do not read anything on this line, but this book, unless it be the authors mentioned in the preface. And read only the most optimistic comments on the world's news, those in harmony with your picture. Also, postpone your investigations into the occult. Do not dabble in theosophy, spiritualism, or kindred studies. It is very likely that the dead still live and are near. But if they are, let them alone. Mind your own business. Wherever the spirits of the dead may be, they have their own work to do and their own problems to solve. And we have no right to interfere with them. We cannot help them, and it is very doubtful whether they can help us, or whether we have any right to trespass upon their time if they can. Let the dead and the hereafter alone, and solve your own problem. Get rich. If you begin to mix with the occult, you will start mental cross currents, which will surely bring your hopes to shipwreck. Now, this and the preceding chapters have brought us to the following statement of basic facts. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. And in addition to all this, we shall now see that he must live and act in a certain way. Oh my goodness. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, chapter 10 is the truth. The whole book is. I want to, while I'm reading, I just want to make sure that I let everybody know while I'm reading, I do see people popping in and coming in and coming out, and I don't say shout out. So let me just say a shout out very quickly. I see that Erica did join. I'm not too sure she's still here. I see Curtis Davis. I see, Israel. Thank you for joining. I see Daryl Holiday. Hello, Daryl. How are you? Thank you for the purple hearts. And I'm doing fantastic, Daryl Holiday. But so this is the ending of chapter 10. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I got to give some highlights because Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, I mean, listen, you've got to read this. I mean, and then you got to read it again. And then you have to read it again. And then you have to let it read you because it is so, his book is so impactful that there is no way that you can honestly say that you got it from the first time you read it. There's just no way. There is no way. And the reason why he had to put this in a book, because he saw the mindset. He saw the mindset and the way the people were living back then in 1910 and even earlier, because in 1911, that's when he transitioned. But human behavior is human behavior. Yes, we are living in 2019, but human behavior, listen, ladies and gentlemen, is the exact same. And it may have even gotten worse. So let me highlight a couple of areas. There's so much to highlight. Literally, this whole chapter can be highlighted. But let me just go through a couple of things that he shared in this fantastic chapter. Again, this is chapter 10 for the use of the will. And I have already read it, and I am going to share some highlights. One of the first things that he talks about, which is also biblically, he says, let the dead bury their dead, as Jesus said. That's the first rule. And let me just show you this. It's right at the very beginning of the book. You see there, it says, let the dead bury their dead, as Jesus said. Okay? Profound. Anybody who know anything about the good book, you know that it's already in the good book. He's just quoting things from the good book. Put poverty and all things that pertain to poverty completely behind you. I don't know any other way to say it, because oftentimes I hear people in conversation, and every time I look around, it's always, oh, woe is me. Let me go a step further. He then says, you have accepted a certain theory of the universe as being correct and are resting all your hopes and happiness on its being correct. And what can you gain by giving heed to conflicting theories? Oh my God. Listen, he comes right out the gate, right here. I like to just show it. This is Wallace D. Wattles, ladies. Wallace D. Wattles, ladies and gentlemen. This is not AnneHumphrey words. This is Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Then he goes on to say, do not read religious books which tell you that the world is soon coming to an end. And do not read the writing of muckrakers. Now, see, that was a term back in the day, muckrakers. You hear that? Muckrakers. I like for you guys to tell me some terms that we use today for muckrakers, okay? And pessimistic philosophers who tell you that it is going to the devil. Oh my goodness. I mean, he tells you this right here. The world is not going to the devil. It is going to God. Mindset, people. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Oh my goodness. I love this passage here. There were so many passages. I love this passage here, and I've got to share this one as well. He begins to say, think of the riches the world is coming into. Let's sit with that. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what he says. Think of the riches the world is coming into. See, when you already know, if you believe this philosophy, if you believe this information, there is no way that you will get caught up in your current circumstances. You will understand that that's just your current circumstance, but it doesn't mean that that is where you're going to stay. You're having to go through it because, as he says, think of the riches the world is coming into. And riches could be all forms, not just money. It's mind, body, and soul. The reason why a lot of people are not able to have money in their pockets or keep money in their pocket is because they have a warped relationship with money. I tell people all the time, people will say, well, Ann, you love money. No, money loves me. And that is the reason why I love it, because I understand that money is a resource. It doesn't control me. It is something that I use to get further faster. And because it serves me and I don't serve it, it's a difference. Okay? Go back to what he says. Think of the riches the world is coming into. If you just keep saying that sentence to yourself every single day, if you would just put that sentence, what Mr. Wallace D. Wattles said, right here, right there. That's where I'm reading from, right there. Okay? If you would just put that sentence, something that I share with people who I'm coaching, I'll say just choose a sentence. Let's make this small, digestible pieces. Okay? Just choose a sentence, write it, and put it on your mirror. Write it and put it on your wall. Write it and put it in your car on the visor. Write it and place it at your desk. Write it and put it on your laptop. Write it and put it on your refrigerator or whatever it is. Just write a particular sentence and just keep saying that sentence over and over and over again. And one of the sentences that I would just say just right now, think of the riches the world is coming into. Then he turns around and says, instead of the poverty it is growing out of. How many people love to just sit in that area and come, and every time you look around, it's like, oh, woe is me. This is not happening for me. It doesn't mean that you don't identify what's going on. It doesn't mean if you need to seek someone's help that you don't seek people help. I'm not saying that. That's not even what he's saying. But the mindset, okay, he says, think of the riches the world is coming into instead of the poverty it is growing out of. See? And bear in mind that the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative method, not the competitive one. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that entire paragraph you should write. You should say that. I mean, listen, right here, right there, that entire paragraph. And I want to put it up there because when you see the words and you read the words, it resonates. You see it visually. You can say it loud. If you just write that out, just do that one particular paragraph. If you don't do anything else at all, if you just write that particular paragraph out and share it, read it, become it, believe it. Again, this is the whole entire thing is very powerful. Think of you can come on in. Think of the riches the world is coming into. Instead of the poverty it is growing out of. And bear in mind that the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative, not the competitive one. Wow. Listen, that is so profound. Okay, another area, this whole chapter. What I'm going to challenge each and every one of you as I pick some of my favorite, even if you're watching this during the replay or live right now, share that particular sentence, share that particular one-liner, share that particular paragraph that resonates with you. Share it in the comments below because I want to hear what resonates with you as well and what you're using as a ritual that you say to yourself every single day. I don't care what the day looks like. I don't care how the outcome is appearing, but this is what you say. So for instance, if this was the particular paragraph that I would be choosing, it would be this one. Think of the riches the world is coming into. I love that. That's music to my ears because I already know that, ladies and gentlemen. I already know that. And then he says, instead of the poverty it is growing out of. Listen to how he said that. Instead of the poverty it is growing out of. He is not saying that poverty is not around us. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that it is growing. The universe is growing out of poverty. And you got to already know that. You've got to know that. Then he goes on to say, whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich, as those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch the inspiration and begin to search for the way out. How many people that you've got to tell them they got to catch some inspiration today? I challenge you to send 10 texts and tell people to catch the inspiration. Tell them to catch the inspiration. Just say that. Even if they don't understand what you're talking about, even if they have no idea what you're speaking about, I challenge you to send at least 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, and just say that. And if you got my number, I challenge you to send me that as well. Catch the inspiration. That's all you got to say is catch the inspiration. You keep doing that, then they'll send that to 10 others, and then they'll send that to 10 others, and it will, just by that short text, just by saying, catch the inspiration in the words of Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Catch the inspiration in the words of Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Catch the inspiration. I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen. I challenge you to do that today. I challenge you to just, all I want you to do, all I'm asking you to do, let's play, because this is the time when we are in a creative process. This is the time to play huge, not to play something small, not smart, but small. There's no time to play small. Who's got time for that? Nobody has time for that. No one has time to be playing small, period. Okay? And if you're playing small, you need to stay away from me. But if you want to catch some inspiration, send it to me and I'll send it back to you. Send it to 10 of your other friends. In the words of Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, he says, again, whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich. This made me drop my pen. Look, ladies and gentlemen, look, right there. It's right there. Look, read it for yourself. For those of you who may not have your book, read it for yourself. For those of you who may be at work and have me on a headset, read it for yourself. Read it and catch some inspiration. Catch some inspiration in the words of Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, listen, if they had, I don't know if 1910, if they had a form of rap, I don't think so. But DJ Khaled, all of them, I can hear them saying, oh, that's the next big song. Catch the inspiration. Oh, they would have ran with that. Let me further go on to what Mr. Wallace D. Wattles wrote. Those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch the inspiration and begin to search for the way out. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand. Catch the inspiration. Send it to 10 friends. Just send that to 10 people that you know. Don't say anything else. Just put in those 3 words, catch the inspiration. Because a lot of people need to catch. They're catching so many other things and they need to catch some inspiration. You hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my goodness. And he says, and began to search for the way out. Wow. I challenge you today. If you have my cell number, I want you to send me a text that says, all you have to say is catch the inspiration. I challenge you. I challenge you to do that to everyone that you know. Just send 3 words. You don't have to say anything else. Just send 3 words. Catch the inspiration. And if they tell you where it comes from, then that's when you get in the conversation. I'm reading The Science of Getting Rich by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. And in chapter 10, he said, catch the inspiration. And then they'll say, well, what was that all about? And then that's when you start having those conversations and transformation, because so many people are catching so many things and they're not catching the right thing. And Wallace D. Wattles says, catch the inspiration. Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, in a lot of cases, when I'm reading his book, I'm like, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles was like a fantastic rapper. He laid some serious lines down. I mean, I'm not a rap star, I'm not a rapper, so I don't know if that's the correct verbiage. But I can tell you this, if he was here and he had a song and a hit that was called Catch the inspiration, and he was talking about this, it would be a humongous hit. I can tell you that. And everybody would be walking around with t-shirts, catch the inspiration. And I would be one of them. Let me go on here and say, as he goes on to say, on the competitive plane, the struggle to get rich is a godless scramble for power over other men. But when we come into the creative mind, all this is changed. Wow. Oh, wow. That's just beautiful. He goes on to say, all that is possible in the way of greatness and soul unfoldment of service and lofty endeavor comes by way of getting rich. All is made possible by the use of things. This is so good. Like, you don't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss this information. Wow. All right, let's keep going. Let me highlight a couple. This entire chapter can be highlighted. The entire chapter can be highlighted. All right, let me read this other section. Moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above the competitive battle for existence. Did y'all hear that? Yeah, no, I don't think y'all heard that. I'm gonna reread that because I don't think you heard that. Now listen. You gotta hear how Mr. Wallace D. Wattles said, and I'm gonna show you right here in my book as I'm reading it, right there at the bottom, right there where you see moral and spiritual greatness, okay? Right there. I want you to get it. I want you to get it. You have to sit with it. Now listen to what Mr. Wallace D. Wattles wrote in 1910. He says, moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above the competitive battle for existence. Whoa, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles is the man. I'm telling you, he is the man. Then he goes on to say, and only those who are becoming rich on the plane of creative thought are free from the degrading influences of competition. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys need to sit with this. This needs to penetrate and permeate through your mind, body, and soul. You got to sit with his words. You got to listen to his words. You got to sit back. It's okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know a lot of people, they have their favorite song. I've already said that in my mind, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles is a rapper. He has some heavy lines. And I know when I'm listening to a song that I've heard for the very first time, I have to listen to it over and over and over again, just so I can hear not only the bump, bump, bump and the sound of the music, but to listen to the words, especially if it's something that resonated with my soul. So I will study that song. I will listen over and over and over, and then I will find the lyrics on Google, and then as I'm listening to the song, I'm reading the lyrics, and I'm traveling through those lyrics. Now, if we can do that with songs, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to the lyrics or the lyricist, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. He is a true lyricist. Mr. Wallace, D. Wattles says, moral and spiritual greatness is possible only to those who are above competitive battle for existence. And only those who are becoming rich on the plane of creative thought are free from the degrading influences of competition. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. When you are a creative being, you don't think and do and act like someone who's always competing. There is no need to compete. Wow. You guys got to sit with that. Let me finish that area. He says, if your heart is set on domestic happiness, listen to this lyricist. He's a true lyricist. He says, if your heart is set on a domestic happiness, remember that love flourishes best where there is refinement, a high level of thought, and freedom from corrupting influences. And these are to be found only where riches are attained by the exercise of creative thought without strife or rivalry. This man is just, listen, every time I read Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes so clear to me why the science of getting rich still permeates and penetrates to this day right now. This man was way ahead of his time. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that he was obedient and wrote a book that outlived him. I'm just so honored that he did not take this wealth of information to the grave with him. Wow. Let's go and share some more highlights. I told you this whole chapter is phenomenal. And I want you to share what permeates and penetrates with you too, because I want to hear, you may have different expressions. You may have different paragraphs that resonated with you, and I want to hear that as well and see that. So feel free to share that. Even if you're looking at this during the replay, share it below. If you're looking at it on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, wherever, just share. Another area, you can aim at nothing so great or noble. I repeat, as to become rich, and you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of riches, to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision. You must learn to see the underlying truth in all things. You must see beneath all seemingly wrong conditions that the great one life ever moving forward toward fuller expression and more complete happiness. Wow. He says others, now listen to this. I'm telling you people, you really have to sit down and I want to get some feedback from you guys. Listen to what he says. 3 areas. Some people remain in poverty. Why is it that they remain in poverty, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles? This is what he says. Because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. Listen to what he said now. Let me reread it. Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. How many people do you know they can't genuinely be happy for you? How many people you know that every time you do something, they want to compete against you and not realize that wealth is for them too? Because when you are no longer competing, you are too busy creating, because you understand that wealth is not only for this person, wealth is also for yourself. All right, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles then says, and these can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. See, that is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, that it is important, it is imperative that you do not concern yourself with other things or situations, because people are going to be people. But by example, they watch you. They're looking at you. They may not say anything. They may not even act like they're looking. Oh, but they're looking. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're looking. But they're also watching. They're seeing how you're moving. What's your movements? How do you move? How do you respond? How do you act? That's what he's saying. And these can be best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. Then he goes on to say, others are poor because, why are they poor, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles? He says, while they feel that there is a way out, they are too intellectually indolent to put forth the mental effort necessary to find that way and by travel it. And for these, the very best thing you can do is to arouse their desire. See, there are certain things that you must do. See, listen, ladies and gentlemen, listen. He's telling you exactly how you need to do. He's telling you how you need to conduct yourself. See, when I was growing up, I always knew that there was a certain way that we have to conduct ourselves. Period, point blank. That was a rule in our house. You had to have manners and you had to know how to conduct yourself no matter what type of environment that you were in. See, that goes back to old school. People who are old school, who were raised a certain way, who know about manners and knowing how to conduct yourself and knowing how to be a leader and not a follower, knowing how to make great decisions, knowing how to not be, quote unquote, coerced to doing something else. See, that comes from child rearing. Okay? Listen to what he says. The very best thing you can do is to arouse their desire by showing them the happiness that comes from being rightly rich. This man, I tell you, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, he is a lyricist. I love it. Next paragraph, literally the next paragraph. He says, others still are poor because. Why are they poor, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles? Well, and they're poor because while they have some notion of science, they have become so swamped and lost in the maze of metaphysical and occult theories that they do not know which road to take. They try a mixture of many systems and fail in all. For these, again, the very best thing to do is to show the right way. To show the right way in your own person and practice. And out of doing things is worth a pound of theorizing. He's telling us, and he's telling us what we need to do, how we need to conduct ourselves. Even if the environment may be showing up another way, because we already know people are looking, people are watching our movement. People are seeing how we respond, how we don't respond, what shakes us, what doesn't shake us. He gives us exactly what we must do around when we're in these type of environments. Okay, so this is what he says. Again, he says the very best thing you can do is to, one of the things he says, is to arouse their desire by showing them the happiness that comes from being rightly rich. That's the first. The second is to show the right way in your own person and practice. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. Drop the mic. I mean, I literally need a mic. Drop the mic. This is a drop the mic moment. Let me show you right here, right there, right there, right there. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. Mic drop. Mic drop. I need a mic, ladies and gentlemen, because there are some passages, there's a lot of passages in here that requires a mic drop. And the only thing I have is my pen. So drop in the mic. Bingo. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is not rocket science. He took the science and put it in layman's terms for us all. All we have to do is be willing and open entities and souls to receiving this information and utilizing it, even if you don't understand it. I've had some people to say to me, well, Ann, when I read that book, I still don't understand it. When I hear the audio, I still don't understand it. I said, great. Because everything that I hear and I read in this book, it's not like I get it right away. The more I keep hearing it, the more I keep reading it, the more I keep, taking small digestible pieces and start connecting the dots, it makes sense. It's not like you're supposed to get this all in one day, ladies and gentlemen. What I encourage you to do is to keep reading it, is to keep hearing it, keep listening to it. That's why I do these live videos. I do these live videos just in case if you're not reading it, just in case if you haven't clicked the audio. So then now you got a third opportunity to get this information. Let me keep reading. He says, you can serve God and man in no more effective way than by getting rich. That is, if you get rich by the creative method and not by the competitive one. Another mic drop. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, as I said a little early in this video, I challenge each and every one of you to write a passage from this chapter or any chapter. Write a passage down, put it on a sticky note, put it in your mirror, put it in your car, Put it at your cubicle, at your desk, or in your office, in your office, wherever it is. Put it on your mirror. Put it on your nightstand. Put it on your purse for the women who are grabbing their purses, and then that's the first thing that you see when you grab your purse. Put it on the back of your cell phone case. Put it wherever it needs. Stick them all over the place. Put it on your refrigerator. Put it everywhere, so then you can start taking small digestible pieces of this chapter and start becoming what it says for you to become. You can take it in small digestible pieces. You don't have to do it all at once, but you must do something. Let's keep reading. I'm highlighting certain areas now that I love. One of the other areas that this whole entire chapter 10 is one, it's incredible. I'm looking for this other area here that I loved, and I wanted to make sure that I share that with you again, because I oftentimes hear this same old message being told over and over again, because some people like to hear themselves with the same "oh, woe is me" message. And Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, he nips it in the bud immediately. Like, no more of that. Okay, until I find that, because let me show the other area. I've been quoting this particular area since I got the book. Now, you need to know how he wants you to engage. Ladies and gentlemen, there are rules to engagement. There are. And if you really want to know how to engage, how to get the best out of this book, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, then you must listen to the rules of engagement. There are things on your part that you must do, and he laid it out. He's giving you the rules of engagement. He didn't name this chapter the rules of engagement, but he's got a way. All throughout the book, he's telling you how to engage to get the most out of this. And this is one of my particular favorite areas, and I have been reading this since April. He says, read this book every day. Keep it with you. Commit it to memory. And do not think about other systems and theories. If you do, you will begin to have doubts and to be uncertain and wavering in your thoughts. And then you will begin to make failures. So let's recap. Again, read this book. He says it right there. Read this book every day. Read it. He says, read this book every day. Keep it with you. Commit it to memory. So what's the first rule of engagement? Read the book every day. What's the second one? Keep it with you. What's the third one? Commit it to memory. What's the fourth? Do not think about other systems and theories. He gives you four things. Number one, read this book every day. Number two, keep it with you. Number three, commit it to memory. Number four, do not think about other systems and theories. Are you doing that? Are you doing that? Because I hear people often saying, I've read it, but, I don't know why you're so excited. And then I ask them those four things. Are you doing the four things? No, but. So it's almost like if you've gotten a manual for your phone, if you got a manual for a car, if you got a manual for a piece of machinery in your home, And if you have not read the manual properly on how to get the full use out of that thing, whose fault is it? The company gave you the manual with your product. It's not the company's error. It's not like you got a product and it doesn't have the manual. In Mr. Wallace D. Wattles' manual of the science of getting rich, he tells you what you need to do. He says, read this book every day, keep it with you, commit it to memory, and do not think about other systems. That's it. How many of you are doing that? How many? How many are so committed that they're doing the 4 steps of this manual? I challenge you to write the manual. This is the manual. That entire paragraph is the manual on how you're going to be able to receive the fullness of what this book has to offer. You must be willing to follow the rules of engagement. It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that simple. If you're not reading this book every day, if you're not keeping it with you, if you're not committing it to memory, and you do not think about other systems and theories, you're not doing those 4 things, then you can't say, well, Ann, I've read it. I listened to the audio, but I'm not getting it, because you're not doing what the manual says. The manual tells you right there what to do, and you're not doing it. You're not doing it. It's very imperative that you do what the manual says for you to do in order for you to be able to receive the highest, greatest universal results there is. It's right there. It's in writing. Do what it says. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I have appointments. I'll give you a good example. When I have appointments and I go out to certain appointments, I have my manual right with me. I have it with me. I'm reading it. I'm taking down notes. It may even start a conversation. I have it with me. Period. I have it with me. And it's not just for decoration. I've said this before in other videos, that if Mr. Wallace D. Wattles says, play these numbers and this will guarantee you the opportunity to be a lotto winner, would you say, no, I'm not going to play those numbers, because I know he gave me these 6 numbers, but I'm not going to do those 6 numbers. I'm going to play my own numbers. I mean, yeah, he's good at what he does, and he makes very, valid points, but I'm just going to play my own numbers. Or it could even be worse. You probably haven't even gotten to the page to discover what the numbers are, because you're not reading it. What is that saying? If you want to hide things from people, put it in a book. All right. Then he goes on to say, if you do, you will begin to have doubt. So he says, read this book every day, keep it with you, commit it to memory, and do not think about other systems. If you do, you will begin to have doubts and to be uncertain and wavering in your thoughts. And then you will begin to make failures. After you have made good and become rich, you may study other systems as much as you please. He tells us right there. But until you are quite sure that you have gained what you want. See, you've got to be clear. A lot of people who are reading this book it's not even clear what they want. And that's why he says here, but until you are quite sure that you have gained what you want, because your want is different from my want, and my want is different from everyone else's want, and everyone else's want is different from my want. Do not read anything on this line but this book unless it be the authors mentioned in the preface. Bingo. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And then I know a lot of people who are news junkies. He's got a thing for you too. Right after that paragraph, he says, and read only the most optimistic comments on the world's news, those in harmony with your picture. Amen to that, Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. That's been something, a philosophy of mine, because a lot of times you can hear things on the news and you're like, geez. So for all you people who love the news and news junkies, he's got a way of how you have to rule of engagement even with that. Wow. Then I'm going to read again what I don't know, because I see other people's books were a little bit different than mine. And I don't know if it's highlighted in your book, but it's definitely highlighted in my book. And I'm going to reread, because I've already read it, but I just love this book so much because it's so much. But it's the good kind of much. It's the kind that you're like, yeah, this is fantastic. And this is the reason why I like to reread it, because when I do the first read, sometimes you need to hear something again and again and again so that it can permeate and penetrate through you. So this is the last area that I will read here, and you'll see it all in bold in mine. In my copy, I'm not too sure if your copy has that, and it's going to start off where it says, there is, okay? There is. You see that? There is. I'd like to show it on the screen. Again, this is Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Wow. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants, and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. Ladies and gentlemen, I just went over again a short recap of chapter 10. I read the entire chapter, went back over a couple of things that resonated and permeated with me. Again, this is chapter 10, for the use of the will. by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles. As I mentioned earlier, that I would like for you guys to text at least 10 people and simply just put the words, as Mr. Wallace D. Wattles said in the previous pages, where it says here, whenever you think, right there. He says, whenever you think or speak of those who are poor, think and speak of them as those who are becoming rich. Those who are to be congratulated rather than pitied. Then they and others will catch. They will catch the inspiration and began to search for the way out. My challenge to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is to send just 3 words to 10 people in your text. All I want you to do is text, catch the inspiration. And we can even go further. You can even put that on the bottom of this post and say, type in catch the inspiration. You can go on other people's posts and just say catch the inspiration. If you have my text, you have my telephone number. All I want you to do is put in there, catch the inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fabulous, fantastic read, a powerful read, a thought-provoking read, a mind-opening read, a mind-transformative read. This has been awesome. I want you to stay tuned as I will read chapter 11. Chapter 11 is acting in the certain way. I want you to stay tuned. Just look out for my messages on the Facebook group page. If you guys are not, if this is shown on other platforms and you're not a part of the Facebook group page, that is fine. My YouTube will have all of my different links that you can go to. And if you wish to join the group, all you have to do is click the link below and you'll be able to be a part of our beautiful tribe. Thank you. I am AnneHumphrey. And enjoy the rest of your evening. I am your founder and creator of the Science of Getting Rich Mindset, Mastermind and Mindset by Mr. Wallace D. Wattles, also the creator of the All Show, the life coach for executives, leaders, and entrepreneurs, nowyourlifetransforms.com, and your upcoming New York Times best-selling author, Damn It, Execute. And all you have to do is go to damnitexecute.com to learn more about the upcoming best-selling book, as well as get your Damn It, Execute t-shirt. Thank you and good night. Wow, this is fantastic.